Hello, my friends. It's Jules Caldwell coming to you. This is the Inspiration Showcase. I'm super excited and kind of a little bit sad because this is my last one for the 2023 calendar year. I'll be taking a break for a couple of weeks and I'll come back in the new year with another round of conversations that are happening. But I'm excited to wrap up my year with this great guest who is joining me today, Cynthia or Cindy Allan. Hello, Cindy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you here as well. And my friends, Cindy and I have known each other for quite a long time. We actually connected. We were talking just before we went live here today. We started working together probably in like late 1988, 1999, 2000. And
That's right.
we've never worked together in the same office, but our work has always sort of connected at different points in time.
And yeah, it's like we're drawn to each other. And in fact, there's a new project coming up that I'm starting to work on in January, which involves you again.
I know, right? You just
So
keep
it's just
telling me.
we're I guess we're twin flames or something.
There you go. Absolutely. So I guess it would help if I told people what it is that you do. So you've worked in human resources as a recruiter, and most recently on the other side of the table as a career specialist working with post-secondary students here in
Mhm.
the Ottawa area.
Yeah.
So I love these conversations because what I want to do is like I like to deep dive into like, so how'd you get your start and how'd you get to where you're at today? So if you don't mind, let's start with why HR and recruitment? Did you wake up one day and say that this is what I'm going to do? Or did it just sort of evolve along the journey of living your life?
Yeah. No, heck no, I didn't wake up and say I wanted to do HR. It evolved, but I think it evolved in the right direction. So full disclosure, I wanted to be an actress. And
Ooh, I did
yeah,
not know that.
like an actress. And
Cool.
so I went to Bishop's University, and I went to university to theater to do theater, and my parents said, "Yeah, right, pick something else," which I
Sorry,
did. I
parents,
did
man.
double major. I did business. And
Okay.
then when I started business, when you start business, you do general and then you choose your concentration afterwards.
Yep.
And nothing appealed to me except HR.
Mm,
Like accounting, finance, so no offense to anybody who's in that there now, but it's just not me. And so I did HR, but I still didn't feel like I'm going to do this as a career. It's I kind of didn't know what an HR career looked like.
yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize that when
Nope.
they're doing that. And so my first job at a university was working at Enterprise Rent a Car, which is where we first met.
Nice.
And from there was an HR position that became available.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'll try it. I have this background in HR. And that's literally how I got into it. It was just sort of like, oh, I did this degree in HR. I could try it out. And then after a few years of doing an HR generalist role,
Yeah.
I realized there were just parts of it I didn't like the firing bit. That was just not my thing. It's just
Yeah.
I'm a pretty like to be a happy type of person.
Yeah. HR can be hardcore. There are some parts of HR that are not fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
And I found that difficult.
Yeah.
So I went more into recruiting. It tended to be more the happy side of things. And then
Yeah.
after a number of years, I think I got bored. I got, it's I got bored. I got frustrated sometimes with hiring good people, and then quite frankly, them having bad managers and them having a really bad experience at an organization.
Yeah.
And then but I still loved helping people, and so when I had this opportunity at University of Ottawa, I thought it was great that I got to go. I was going to career fairs as part as being a
Yeah.
recruiter, and I even spent my time at career fairs talking to students, because students would automatically just say like, I'm not sure what I want to do, or
It's
you
a
know
natural part of the conversation when you're
yeah. And
recruiting.
so I would have these conversations and realize I loved it. So that's sort of how I came to what I'm doing now. But HR is still there a little bit,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I enjoy it still. So
So I'm actually really intrigued to hear the journey of how you got to where you're at. Because after all these years, I never really knew that you were pursuing acting. That's where you wanted to go. And it's funny, I kind of chuckled as you were sharing your story because I was in the exact same boat, except I wasn't into acting. I actually literally had zero clue what I wanted to be when I grew up. And at the end of the day, I chose business because I thought, well, you can't go wrong with business. But none of those other concentrations appealed to me. So
Mhm.
HR is what I also sort of focused on, but I was leaning towards the training and development side of things. But I was like, you can't go wrong with business. You have to have a knowledge of it everywhere you go. So I
Yeah.
might as well start there and see where it goes. And
Yeah.
it just evolved to where I'm at today.
Yeah, yeah. It's working with students now. It's sometimes hard to explain to them about how our careers are not linear.
Yes.
And a lot of university students enter university, and even as they end university, they expect this very linear sort of I did this, and then I get married, and then I have kids, and then I get a divorce, and I die. It's like this very linear, and it's not. As you know,
Yeah.
Jules, it's just not.
It's so not. And, I think for many of us, and I talk about our generation, we grew up at a time where it was the natural thing where you went to school, you picked what you were going to be for your rest of your life. You
Yeah.
maybe got married, had kids, and like that was the thing you did. And that's not the way it is now.
No.
One of the things I love about this conversation, Cindy, is I think even as women, we go through these different phases of our life and
Right.
we ebb and flow into those different areas. And we have these skills that we need at different points in time. And so our journey can evolve as
Absolutely.
we move through life and as life happens to us, or, as we embrace life as it happens to us.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So recently you decided to up your game, if I could call it that, and pursue a certification to become what's called a flow certified coach.
Yeah.
I think this is really cool. And I think there's this trend where a lot of people are now looking at, because I heard you say earlier, you loved helping people. And so this is this next way of being able to really come in and have powerful impact in people's lives. So tell us a little bit about what being a flow certified coach is, and why you thought it was the right time for you to do this now.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a time coming. I actually started a master's in counseling and let it go.
Mhm.
Decided to drop it and due to life
Yep.
and all the things that come with life and I'd lost confidence in myself, lost my way,
Oh, yeah.
lost everything
Check,
as
check,
you
check.
do.
Yeah.
Check, right? And but then as I started to come back to myself and as I'm doing, I started to that want to help people.
Yeah.
Um to
Mm.
it started off, it's interesting, because you do this as well.
Mhm.
I have this need to fix,
Yeah.
and I want to fix and I want to help so it's the one big thing I had to learn as I went into coaching is that that's actually not your job.
No.
But you're there to guide and to be on someone's journey,
Yeah.
to help them help themselves.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it when I sort of discovered that's what it was. And I really, I really enjoy being able to see that spark in someone's eye when something clicks, or
Yes.
um, that they take one small step towards that goal. And if nothing else, I held them accountable to it,
Yeah.
something like that. It's nothing, there's nothing that makes my day happier. Um,
I love that you've just shared that, Cindy, because I again, we are such kindred spirits. That's the thing that makes me tick as well. And it's the spark in the eye. I love it when you have a conversation with somebody and you're talking about something and you can tell that in their eyes, you just hit the thing that gets them excited, like makes them sit on the edge of their seat and want to like explore more and do more.
yeah.
That for me is like the "Wah," of, when we're doing what we do and using our awesomeness and brilliance to help others, getting them to that point is a fix in and of itself.
Right, right. I love when I hear, "That's a good question."
Yeah.
Then you're sort of getting to like, oh, this is something you haven't really thought about before, and we're digging into something. And I think that anyway, it's just really exciting, and it's exciting to be on people's journeys with them and to
Yeah.
watch the evolution.
Absolutely.
It's so much fun, and flow coaching is about helping people find their flow, find this
Yeah.
state of flow. It's based on positive psychology, and it's based on using our strengths to find that state of flow, basically that state
Yeah.
of we've all been there when we're
Moving.
doing something and it's just we're going and we're excited, we don't even know we're working,
Yeah.
right? We don't even know what we're doing. That's that state, and then it's
That's
helping
the
people find.
ultimate, right? When
Yeah,
what you're doing, what you do, and it doesn't feel like work, you just love what you do.
you just love what you do. So, so we work with people who in business, work with people who want to, manage their people better, work with people who want to manage their life better.
Yeah.
Um,
So
it's
for you in your journey as a flow certified coach, is there anybody in particular that you're looking to work with and serve with this new certification? Is it something you'll use in your job, or do you have a desire to sort of branch out maybe one day? Not that you're giving notice to Ottawa U right now,
no,
but do you
I
have
am not giving notice to Ottawa U.
just to be clear, I still need my
If
job.
anyone's listening.
But what's the bigger plan for you? Like, what do you hope to do with this coaching?
Yeah. No, I initially also took it to improve my relationship and improve my interaction with my I call them my
Yeah.
students, with
Yeah.
my babies, with my
They are
students.
our babies.
They
Absolutely.
are.
Much
They really
appreciated.
are.
Some of them are graduated and moved on and having kids, and they're still my babies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I started that to improve that. I want to provide more value.
Yeah.
And then it's a little bit difficult to be a true coach in that environment because
Yes.
my job is also to teach.
Yeah.
And you're kind of with true coaching, you're sort of, as you know, Jules,
Yeah.
it's there's that line. But no, I hope to, kind of continue this on the side, a little, work with people.
Yeah.
Ideally, I'll work with anyone, but I want to work with women.
Yeah.
I want to help women find what's exciting for them to help them move forward,
Yeah.
in any way that they want to move forward,
Yeah.
and whatever that is. So
Mm.
I would say women, young people, that university age, I really love, and women, I think, our age,
Yeah.
if we can say that still have
Which is
so much in
really
them.
young, by the way.
Which is because we started working together when we were 15. It
That's
was
right.
amazing. We were young. We graduated university at 12, and but no, I don't mind saying I'm 53 and
Yeah.
young, and I have a lot that I want to do and a lot I can do.
Yeah.
And I want to help women who are at that point where they're like, do I just kind of stay and keep doing what I do until I retire, or I'm like, no,
Yeah.
like what'll make you jump out of bed in the morning?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, there's so much goodness and a lot of the different tidbits that you've shared here. I love it. Um, and I think, oh, God, where do I go with all the greatness that you just shared? I don't know where to go now. It's so awesome. Okay, I'll get back to serious and some of my questions here, but I might like interject at some point in time.
Of course.
So before we went live, you were sharing some of the challenges that you had along the way with respect to finding the right program and things like that. And I think sometimes when we make decisions to follow a path, when we get sidetracked in maybe the first thing that comes along or along that journey, it can be easy to feel like giving up, or like you talked about, imposter syndrome, that kind of stuff. So tell us a little bit about, for you as a woman and as a career professional, making a decision to do something like this. What are the challenges you faced along the way, and how do you choose to overcome them?
That's a great question, Julie.
I asked you a
Jules.
good question. I asked you a
Yes,
good
you did. You asked me a good question. Love it.
question.
You know what? I think a lot of the problems or obstacles, sorry,
Obstacles, yeah.
that I've hit,
Yeah.
a lot of them were self-created. Like, honestly, um, so first of all, you start off even before doing the course. Well, is something I can do? Can I do it? Can I
Yeah.
put in the time?
Mindset. Yeah.
There's just this mind. So first of all, the mindset, and then as you're doing it, as you're learning to do it, and that's that, I think we all get into it. It's like, I'm going to take this course and I'm going to be an expert. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
no, coaching doesn't work that way. Like, that kind of skill doesn't work with, oh, I've learned how to, do pivot tables in Excel. I can now do
Yeah.
them.
Ta-da.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that kind of, so that sort of, I don't, I can't really call myself a coach, because that's not, I don't really know how to do it,
Right.
but you do.
Yeah.
And then so there's that imposter syndrome. And then, Jules, honestly, it's sometimes getting people to understand what I do.
Yeah.
So they hear coach and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, coach.
Yeah. Eyes glaze over.
Like the glaze over, because you're
I don't
right.
need a coach. Yeah.
I don't need a coach, or
Yeah.
whatever, coach, life coach, and like, well, no, hold on a second.
Yeah.
And trying to get them into a conversation about, what's something that's keeping you up at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's,
That's a great question to ask people.
yeah, like, what's that thing that you keep coming back to, that,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I think a lot of it is myself, my own belief in myself and my own abilities, and getting through it, and how I overcame it. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Is help and support.
Yeah.
I first of all, I work with a therapist. I have for many, many years.
Yeah.
I have supportive friends who are there
Amazing.
to just kind of say, no, no, you got this. No, you're good at that. No,
Yeah.
yes, no, that was good.
Or to call you on your shit whenever you're like telling a story.
All you on your shit. Oh my God, those are the best friends, right? That are like,
Yeah.
really, girl. And and this comes a little bit to what my advice is just trying and
Yeah.
taking a step. And then all of a sudden you do that first coaching session, which was 6 months ago, and you have that person say, this was really useful. And you go, all right, cool. All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then you do another one, and then you try something new. And it's often just like, well, I'm going to dip my toe and see. That's been encouraging. And in fact, it's encouraged me so much that I'm actually going back in January to finish my master's.
Nice. The one you started before. Yeah.
The one I started before. It's like,
Oh.
this gave me the confidence that I've done this, I've completed this, that I said, you know what, I can go back and do this.
Yes,
So
you can. Absolutely. You got this, girl. You got this. Okay, Cindy, you describe yourself as an overall lover of life. And when you say that, I'm like, and funny enough, a couple of people I talked to in the last week or so who know you as well were like, oh, she's just so full of life. And I'm like, yep, she is. Tell us why are you like that? Like what it means to you to
oh my
just
God.
live life and embrace it that way.
Yeah, and this is a caffeine-free, Cindy, by the way. I like coffee, so that's why am I like that?
Or
Yeah,
why is it important
that's
to you to live
another
your
great question, Jules. Why am I
Yeah.
like that? I don't know. I think I've always been curious.
Okay.
I've always been, and having that curiosity about people, about things, about how things work, about, oh, who did that? Who drew that? Who built that? How do you do that? That having just that curiosity. When I say lover of life, I think I have that curiosity for life to do it.
Yes. Yes.
And experiencing the common humanity of it's amazing. One of my loves is traveling and
Yeah.
going around the world, and I've been to quite a few places, but not enough yet.
Yeah.
But seeing that, no matter where I've been, there's been this common humanity.
Yeah.
And learning, and even though it's different, a little bit of culture, there's still this understanding. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to
Mm,
connect and learn from others. Um, and I think that's the one thing about when you talk about support, that is the one thing that is so important, that people need, is that support, is
yeah.
that, and part of it is realizing that common humanity. So I used to have a necklace. So I'm going to just take this off the rails. Do you mind?
Yeah, go for
Um,
it.
I used to have a necklace that said, and this was my motto. When I saw this necklace, I went, "Yeah, this is my life. This is badass, right?" And it said, "A damsel in distress who can't save herself isn't worth saving."
Mm,
Yeah, right?
mm,
And I
wow.
look at that now and go, wow, that's kind of sad,
Hmm.
because a damsel in distress who can't save herself can ask for help.
Yeah.
And but that's the way I used to think. Like,
Wow.
I love Sherlock Holmes. I love Sherlock. And he has a line, he says, alone is what I have.
Hmm.
Alone protects me.
Yeah.
And that was very much my philosophy as well. And as I would say, as I've come back to myself over the last few years,
Yeah.
is discovering the importance of that support system,
Mm.
of that common humanity. As a woman going through perimenopause right now, just being able to say, someone said, I don't know, it's so weird. It's like I walked to the room and I forgot what I was going to do. And just to have another
Yep.
woman say, I
Me too.
know, or oh my God, I'm so hot, or oh my
Yeah.
God, whatever. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I'm not crazy.
I'm not alone.
I'm not alone. And
Yeah.
it having that support, and I have some wonderful people in my life, particularly women that they are the ones that'll call me on my shit, but they're also the
Yeah.
ones that will put me up on a pedestal when I need it as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Those are the
I will
ones that,
never think that way again.
yeah.
You
Wow.
need
So
that support.
powerful.
Yeah, it was a tough lesson for me to learn, but now that I've learned it and embraced it, it's really a big change for me.
I think I've heard you say it a couple of times in our conversation now, but coming back to yourself at the end of the day, I like at the very root of these conversations, I love because that seems to be just this theme that keeps coming out
Yeah.
until we get to a place where we're comfortable in our own skin, in our own body, in our own experiences, and on our own mistakes. We can never truly be who we're called to be, and whatever that looks like in our lives. And so I just love that at some point, and it sounds like on many different occasions, you sort of stopped and were like, wait a second, where I've lost myself in this, and who am I and what do I want my
Oh
life to look like?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, at various points in my life, you first leave home, who am I? That you just have all
Yeah.
those key moments. But then there's things that happen, relationships break up, or
Yeah.
that, and then you start questioning
Yeah.
everything about yourself, wondering and blaming yourself, and all
Yeah.
those things. And I think that process is continuous. To me, it will always be continuous.
Yes.
That there will be tomorrow, I'll be a situation and I'll go, huh, wow, why did I react that way? That's interesting. Let's unpack that a bit, and
Yeah.
that's just it's part of the journey. It's part of the
Yeah.
part of
And
the
being
fun.
open to growth, to learning from our mistakes, to changing, to receiving feedback, and yeah. Yeah.
And it's not easy, as anyone who out there knows. My MO was keep myself as busy as possible so I didn't have to address anything. Anything inside here was about, like, no, 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 I'll help you do this, I'll help you do that, da 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 da. I was like 20
Yeah.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
The fact that I can sit and be with myself,
Yeah.
and
And
be
be happy there.
content for the most part,
Yeah. A
is
pretty
a huge
powerful
shift for me.
testimony. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge shift for me.
Yeah. Well, my friend, so we were joking before we started that, we could make this go on for 3 hours and it's already been like almost 25 minutes.
Oh my God, I'm so
But it's
sorry.
been goodness. No, gosh, no, don't apologize. I love it. And I love, because there's just such powerful messages here. But as we wrap up, let me ask you one last question. And I think you've alluded to some of this in a lot of what you've said right now, but I always like to ask, what's one piece of wisdom or advice you would share with a woman or anybody who might be listening to our conversation who's maybe sitting on the edge of an idea or following that thing that is sparking inside them, what advice would you share to them about what to do with that?
Yeah. Hire a coach. No.
Damn.
No, mic
And I
drop.
happen to know one right here.
Yeah, I can give you a name. No, two things. Two things. Sorry, I'm going to Z two. First
Yeah.
of all, I alluded to this before. Take a step towards it. Put a
Yeah.
toe in the water.
One
Go to
step,
a
one
webinar.
thing.
Listen to a webinar. Go to an art class. Whatever. Just take a
Yeah.
step. And the second is surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
We all have people in our lives, and unfortunately, a lot of them will be family who'll be like, "What are you doing that for? That's stupid."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what? You know, you'll never be able to make that work. You know, you tried that before; it didn't work. Yeah, cut those. No, I don't say cut those people out of your life. I don't want to say that.
No. But set boundaries, healthy
Don't
boundaries.
set boundaries with them.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
let them in on that journey. Whereas
Yeah.
your cheerleading squad,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
have them, talk to them. I'm having a bad day. Okay, what can we do to lift you up? Not like told you. Yeah. You don't need that. So surround yourself with the people who will lift you up, will show you your shit, and will lift you up, and
Yeah.
and just take a step towards whatever that is that's calling you.
Mm. Couldn't have thought of a better way to wrap up our conversation today. Cindy, thank you so much for joining us. My friends, this is Cindy Allan. She's a career specialist and flow certified coach and overall lover of life. You can find Cindy on LinkedIn if you go to Cynthia Allan on LinkedIn and follow her, find out more about her business and her coaching if you're looking for some coaching support there. Cindy, thank you again for your time today. What a great conversation, some great insights.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here. And yes, please, if you just want to have a conversation, just reach out to me on LinkedIn, or I'm on Facebook Messenger under Cindy Allan as well. Whatever's easiest for everyone.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, my friends, that is a wrap for the last Inspiration Showcase conversation for 2023. Thank you, Cindy, for being my last guest of the year. And folks, I will be in touch and let you know what our schedule is for the new year coming into January. I wish you all the very best over the holiday season, and in living and loving the life we live, go and just find time for yourself to listen for that thing. And as Cindy said, just take one step. One step. This is the perfect time of year as we start to reflect on what happened during the year and what we want in and how we want to build our intention for the new year. And so what's that one thing you could do to move towards what's calling to you and speaking to you right now? So
yeah,
wishing you all the best over the holidays. And Cindy, thank you again. Really happy to have you with us. And folks, we'll see you next year.